What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, guys? What's going on, everybody? We are live. So I have to set up the system so that we can have a good experience, okay? Just give me a few minutes to set everything up. What's going on, guys? What's up? How are you guys doing? Please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me. Let me know. Let me know, guys. What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? Bionano Genomics. Can you hear me? What's going on, guys? Yes, yes, yes. Let's get to it. Bionano Genomics, third quarter earnings report. Okay. So we have about 15 minutes before the market close. So let's see what's gonna happen today. Right now, the share price of Bngo is more or less, not really doing anything right now. Okay, we are up just about 3%, which of course is good. I mean, the entire market is completely red today. Look at that. Nasdaq is down. Dow Jones, S&P 500, Russell 2000, crude oil, even gold is down right now. But Bngo is up a little bit before the amazing report. Okay, the third quarter earnings report. First of all, thank you guys for tuning in. It's going to be an amazing day today. Okay, we're gonna have a lot of fun. What is going on? What's up? What's up, guys? Troy, hi. What's up? Daniel, AP, Astro. Right now it's almost 9 p.m. in Germany, so allow me to say good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. But please remember to smash the like button, okay, so that other investors can know we are live. And please help me to share it on other platforms so that we can have some good discussion in the comment section. So first of all, what do you guys think today is gonna be like? What do you think the EPS? Are we going to finally beat this crazy EPS? Okay, Bionano Genomics has missed 4 consecutive quarters. Okay, we have been missing the EPS like there is no tomorrow. Look at that, guys. I'm gonna move this to the side. We have been missing the EPS 4 consecutive quarters. Do you think this third quarter is gonna be a break, from this bad luck? Okay, are we going to break it finally? Stuttgart. Stuttgart is not far away from me. So Bngo. Now let's quickly take a look at what the previous quarter has been like. Okay, I have prepared this for you guys. So I'm going to move this a little bit. No, okay, I'll move it up a little bit. Now this is what Bionano Genomics previous quarter has been like. You guys can see right here in this my spreadsheet. Okay, total revenue, this is the chart of total revenue of Bionano Genomics, and last quarter was a new record, $6.7 million US. So I think this quarter is also going to be a new record, because you guys can see in 2021 Q3 was a new record. Okay, you guys can see right here. So I think Q3 2022 is also going to be a new record. So that is the one good news I have to share with you guys, for now. Now if you go to this side, okay, this right here is the expenses. This is what I want this part to go down a little bit, because the GAAP operating expenses in the second quarter was $33.6 million US. So I hope that is going to come down, because that was also a new record. Okay, I mean, let's see what's gonna happen. I hope this is, if even if it's going to go up, I hope it's not gonna go crazy. Okay, if we see 34, it's still okay. 35 is okay, but anything above 40, I hope it's not gonna be like that. Okay, so I would love to see this one, stabilizing a little bit, not getting out of hand. Of course, they keep hiring. Bionano Genomics keep hiring new talent. Okay, they keep bringing in new people. So I hope the CEO is going to talk about that, or perhaps the chief financial officer is going to talk about that. So these two things are, one of the things that I am presently watching. And then we have the Sapphire device, how many devices they have managed to install. In the second quarter, the number of the installed base in second quarter stood at 196. Okay, they installed 20 Sapphire devices in the second quarter. And then let's see what's going to happen. Maybe they are going to install more devices, because I shared a poll on Twitter. I ask you guys, if you guys are not yet on my Twitter, you can go right there and vote. If you have not yet voted, okay, go on my Twitter. I made a poll. I made 4 polls. Okay, the first one says, will BNGO beat, meet, or miss earnings per share? And only 27 people have voted so far. And the result is more or less, that they are going to beat EPS. But past quarters, okay, past 4 quarters, Bionano Genomics missed EPS. So you guys shouldn't, be shocked if they miss, for example, because you guys can see this is the trend right here. They need to surprise us with earnings per share. Okay, they need to surprise us. Now, I hope you guys can still hear me. They need to surprise us with EPS. Okay, now the second poll that I made is let me see. The second one is number of Sapphire installed in the third quarter of 2022, and 43 votes came in. Okay, and 44.2% says it's going to be over 25 Sapphire device installed in the third quarter of this year. Now, historically, you guys can see right here, the last time Bionano Genomics installed over 20 Sapphire devices was in the third quarter of 2021, and then in the fourth quarter of 2021. Okay, so there is a good chance that Bionano Genomics has installed over 20 devices in 2022, third quarter of this year. Okay, but right here we have 20 to 25. They have never installed 25 Sapphire devices. So hopefully this is going to be the first time Bionano Genomics is going to be installing more than 24 Sapphire devices, which of course is going to be a new record. So those are the things you have to watch out for also. And then the third poll is the gap operating expenses. Okay, if it's going to be over 30 million US dollars or less than 30 million US dollars. Okay, so I got only 14 votes so far. I made a mistake right here. It shouldn't be 5 days, it's supposed to be 5 hours. So I'm going to close all this poll very soon. Once the earnings result is out, I'm going to delete everything. So right here we have over 30 million US dollars according to the votes. 64.3% says it's gonna be over 30 million US dollars in operating expenses. Hopefully it's not going to go higher than that, because like I shared with you guys, in the third quarter of this year, Bionano Genomics spent 33.6 million US dollars, to run the business. So non-GAAP operating expenses was 26.4 million US dollars, and then the cash at hand was 187 million US dollars. That's also another topic entirely. Okay, this cash at hand is also another topic. I made a video about dilution, that there is a possibility if Bionano Genomics don't raise some money or become profitable miraculously in the next 12 months, there is a good chance they are going to be raising some money, which means they may dilute some shares or perform some kind of miracle. But this money is not going to last us for the next 24 months. So that is also a separate video that I made. You can go and check it out on my channel. And so they said they have 187 million US dollars in cash. Okay, according to their report from second quarter of this year. So let's see how much they have spent from this money for the third quarter of this year. So that is going to come somewhere around here. If they spend, like, let's say they spent 30 million US dollars, for example, you guys can already tell we are still gonna have enough money. Okay, like 150 million US dollars will still be left, okay, to run the business for the next couple of quarters, maybe 6-7 quarters, which is still okay. Because right now, I believe the way if you guys watched the news yesterday about the Fed increasing, raising the interest rate, hiking it by 75 basis points, you can already tell that in the second quarter of next year, this craziness about interest rate hike is going to be over. Hopefully, inflation is going to come down. Hopefully, the housing market is going to crash, because that is, of course, what Jerome Powell wants to happen. This guy literally wants to turn everybody poor so that inflation can come down. But energy prices is still very high, guys. Oil is still we still have war going on in Russia and Ukraine and so on and so forth. So hopefully all this craziness is just going to be over next year, and finally we can have peace in this stock market, because right now retail investors are being destroyed literally in the stock market. So if Bionano Genomics can maintain enough cash until this madness is over, I think this is a very good thing, okay? I mean, this is going to be very good. It means the stock price of BNGO can finally get away from this below $3. We can finally get to my $3 price target, hopefully tomorrow. If they report something great today, I think we can see $3 tomorrow. And then they are going to if the share price skyrockets above $5, for example, $6, for example, then if they raise some money, it's going to be okay. We are going to have a bottom to fall to if they raise some money. Because last year when Bionano Genomics raised some money, the share price of BNG didn't come down. It instead went higher. They raised money, I believe, when the price was around $3 or so, and then they raised the second money when the price was around $6. That was back in January last year. But then the share price of BNGO was skyrocketing all the way to 15.6 something US dollars. So that didn't really affect the share price of BNGO. So as long as the market is okay, as long as inflation craziness is over, I think we are fine. Even if they dilute some shares, I think we are going to be fine. Okay. Now, so that is that about the graph. And then last but not the least, flow sales. I want to hear some good news about the flow sales, okay? Because right now, according to what they said during the previous earnings call, they are having problem with the suppliers, okay? They have problem with the supplier, because you guys can see right here in the third quarter of 2021, that was when they sold about almost 4,000 flow sales, okay? But since then, it has been coming down. We've been having problem with suppliers since then. So I would love them to break this number right here. If they report over 4,000 flow sales, that is going to be a great news. So those are the things that I'll be watching out for. Of course, after the earnings, I mean, we're going to be discussing this. I'm going to plot all this, plot my spreadsheet once again, put everything together, plot the graph, and then let you guys know the updated version, what is going on with the company and so on and so forth. That's of course what my channel is all about: the good, the bad, and the ugly. That is what we discuss on this channel. Now so shares of BNG right now is up about $2.3 right now. Let's take a look at the price action, because it's been a while since I spoke about this. But before we continue with the price action, the market is going to close in the next 4 minutes. Now this is what is happening right now with Bionano Genomics. Okay, we have this right here. We open with a cap up today. Okay, we open with a cap up today, and so we open with a cap up today, and right here you guys can see, like I already shared with you guys in one of my previous video, this looks to me like head and shoulder, and this shoulder is still building. I mean, if they report something negative, you could expect the price to drop like it did, okay, during the previous quarter when the result was not good. The price of BNGO dropped, just like Pac Bio also dropped. 10S Genomics, I believe Illumina also, they normally drop if the earnings is not really favorable. It drops, then it rallies. So if you see any drop tomorrow, in my opinion, not financial advice, we could see a rally tomorrow, back to where we are today. It's possible. So if we drop tomorrow, is still in line with my target. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. So this right here is the support that I am watching right now. Okay, this right here is the support. So right here we have the support. So if we drop, we are still very well, we still have the uptrend, okay, as long as the stock market, the sentiment is not completely crazy, because Jerome Powell seems to want to make everybody poor. Most of us are having problem with our portfolio since the beginning of this year. Most especially small cap stocks have been hammered heavily since the beginning of this year because of all this inflation, interest rate hike, and so on and so forth. So This is what I am watching right now, guys. This is what I'm still watching. Okay, and I just recorded a breaking news about a price target, but I'm going to be posting that video after all this earnings call saga. Okay, I'm going to put I've already recorded it. I just need to edit it and post it, but I don't want to, you know, upload too many videos at the same time. If you guys notice, now I'm more or less making one video every 2 days. Okay, I'm not really going to be making like 5 videos, 4 videos every day anymore. No, as you guys can see, my work has changed. Okay, I mean, I want to be providing you with quality content, not just bombarding you with quantity. I want to be giving you quality content. So I'm not gonna post the video any moment from now. I'm going to wait for the earnings call to be over. Then if I have time, I will edit the video and post it. So we have a new price target. I'm going to be sharing that with you guys in the next video. So I remain bullish BNGO. That's more or less what I am trying to say. So we have 4 minutes before the market closes, and then we are going to be hearing from Bionano Genomics to know what is going on, you know, with the company. They have been posting a lot on Twitter because right now we have the AMPATH 2022 events going on, and the amazing thing is that Bionano Genomics is getting a lot of support from all these experts. Okay, Dr. Colehair, for example, you can see they are always coming out to support Bionano Genomics, to let, you know, other researchers in this genomic sector to know that Sapphire device is what it is, and this right here is OGM is equals to, oh my god, this is the gold standard. This software, this device has the potential to replace all traditional methods and replace standard of care. That's more or less the message that, you know, all these experts are passing. Okay, every time they are coming out. Look at this event, for example, jam pack. Okay, you can see even people are here standing. That is how much interest, you know, all these researchers presently have on the Sapphire device, optical genome mapping. So I think the market has closed. So let's just, so the market has 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock right here in Germany right now. Okay, the market has closed. So any moment from now, we should be hearing from Bionano Genomics. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to bionanogenomics.com. If you guys have the result, just please let me know, okay? Hey, Rusty, bro. Rose, what's up? What's going on? Hello, Astro. Hello, Patel. Hello, everybody. We are not in a hurry. In the next 30 minutes is the earnings call, okay? But right now we have this Bionano Genomics Laboratory, bionanogenomics.com. So right now we just want to see the report of Bionano Genomics and discuss it until the earnings call. Investors, let's see if they have posted news and events. So Bionano Genomics report third quarter financial result and highlights. So this is it right here, guys. The result is in 55% year-over-year revenue growth in Q3 2022. Okay, this is a good news. 55% year-over-year revenue growth is amazing. Okay, on track to achieve all 2022 elevate milestone. This is also amazing news. Okay, now we have strong balance sheet of 180. Wait a minute, guys. Am I reading this correctly? 180.2 million US dollars in cash. Okay, because, you know, according to their 187 million previously. Oh my god. This is interesting. I'm not gonna go crazy. This is good. You guys can see BNG is even up, you know, after hour we are up about 2% right now. This is good. I'm in shock. I am in shock. 180.2 million dollars in cash. Okay. Now, if you go further, the company executed its commercialization strategy, built scientific momentum by presenting data at key scientific yada yada. Of course, that is amazing. And then we have recent highlights since the end of Q3 2022. For the first time, the American Society of Human Genetics (ASHG) annual meeting featured a dedicated scientific session on optical genome mapping. That was a very good one, guys. I mean, this was a very good one. For the first time, Bionano Genomics has a dedicated scientific session for optical genome mapping, the Sapphire device. with researchers highlighting OGM as a technique that has the potential to revolutionize molecular and cytogenetic research. Okay, that is amazing. That's of course the argument we are still having. Researchers are coming out and saying OGM can replace this old technology. I mean, we are new, guys. This is just the beginning. As time goes on, you guys are gonna say, we're going to look back and say, wow, I remember when I used to watch Dayo talk about OGM replacing old method of analyzing genomes, blah, yada yada. You gotta see, guys. I mean, it's a long game. Okay, this is not a short game. Bionano recently held the first scientific user meeting in the company's history to bring together over 50 researchers. Okay, this is also amazing. So I'm going to be highlighting the great news for the first time. ASHG, this is a very wonderful one. This is another amazing one. So they brought together 50 researchers at Bionano laboratories, and that was of course a very good thing. They demonstrated the power of Sapphire device and the power of the software, NX clinical software. Okay, now together with Hamilton, of course, Bionano Genomics announced the commercialization of the long strange Vantage. Okay, this is the breaking news I shared with you guys a couple of days ago, which of course is amazing. Now we want to hear more about this, okay, from the CEO. For the first time, I think he's going to be talking about this. Let's see how much this device is going to cost. Okay, now let me read further. DNA for using yada yada. Initial testing has been performed on cell lines and blood, yada yada. Result confirmed that labs can process up to 12 UHMW DNA samples per run and 24. Okay, this is amazing. High consistency, yada yada. The automated workflow marks a significant improvement over manual method. Of course, this is the reason why Bionano Genomics, went in collaboration with Hamilton to develop this amazing device. Okay, they want to cut the workflow, the time to put all the samples together. I forgot the right word to use. That is why they invented this device, because their users were complaining that it takes a long time to put all this to separate DNA and so on and so forth. So that's of course why they went with Hamilton to develop this amazing device. And you guys can see the automated workflow marks a significant improvement over the manual method. So it has been automated, now dramatically reducing the hands-on time and number of samples that can be purified to UHMW DNA. Now the long strange Vantage is expected to be commercially released in early 2023. So I think they are going to be releasing this in the first to second quarter of next year. So now total revenue for Q3, $7.2 million. So this is very good. Okay, this is very good. Now we have a new record, $7.3 million. As you guys can see, previously the last record was $6.7 million, which they reported in the second quarter of this year. So 7 point something US is amazing. Okay, this right here is the after hour is down right now. I think we are still waiting for the CEO to come and talk. Now let's continue. So they managed to they grew the install base of Sapphire system from 196 at the end of second quarter by 21. So they installed just 21 to 217. Now the CEO of Bionano Genomics has promised us that they are going to be installing about 240 devices in 2022. So let's see how they're gonna do that. So they have installed 217 devices. We just have about 23 devices to go to make sure they meet that target of 240 devices. Pardon me, 240 devices for 2022. So they are still in line. Okay, I mean, all of us would love to see Bionano Genomics installing 50 devices, 100 devices, but I mean, the CEO promised 240 for 2022, and I think they are going to meet it, because in the fourth quarter for sure they are going to be installing like 23 devices, and then that is it, they meet up. But if they want to surprise us in the fourth quarter, hopefully they are going to install more than 25 devices, because this number 21 devices, if you go back to how many devices they have installed, okay, you guys can see the difference right here. So it's not a new record. This is not a new record. Okay, I'm not really happy with this result. This is not a new record. I would expect them to install more than 24 devices, okay, as time goes on. Now let me wait and see how many flow cells they have managed to sell. So 217 devices right now for Q3, 11% increase compared to Q2 2022. So in Q2 2022 they installed just 20 devices in Q2 2022, and right now they installed 21. So it's not really a big number like that. The installed base at the end of Q3 grew 54% compared to Q3 2021. Of course, this of course is good. Okay, if you want to take a look at year over year, it's still a good news. Okay, now to continue, they sold, okay, this is good, guys. This one right here is good. They sold 3,975 nanochannel array flow cells during Q3 2022, which is a record for the number of flow cells sold in any quarter in the company's history. Represents a 17% sequential increase over Q2 2022 and is comparable to the 3,969 flow cells sold during Q3 2021. I told you guys, during Q3 2021, they sold 3,969 flow cells. So Q3 2022, they broke the record. Okay, they broke the record just a little bit. I'm going to put that right here. Okay, so they broke the record a little bit, 3,975 flow cells. This is good. Okay, I mean, I would love to be seeing, you know, new record. Okay, as time goes on, that is what I would love to be seeing. So presented the latest research on OGM for use in variety of application, yada yada. Announced the launch of Bionano Laboratories. Okay, this is the launch of the laboratory, a new organization that combines Bionano OGM. I think Bionano Laboratories is a very, very good thing in my opinion. Okay, if Bngo can start to, I'm still going to see if they are going to share how many, you know, samples they managed to analyze at Bionano Laboratories. Okay, you know, because we don't want to depend 100% on the users of the Sapphire device. We also want to be able to analyze genomes. We want to be able to, you know, receive some samples from, you know, external, you know, researchers that just want to maybe analyze just 2 samples, 3 samples. Okay, we don't want to just depend our revenue to depend on, you know, the users of the Sapphire device. So I missed this one right here, including a cancer genomics consortium with 18 events covering OGM utility research. I mean, Bngo, whenever it comes to all this cancer consortium or, you know, all this symposium and so on, all these events, Bionano Genomics is breaking record. Okay, I mean, the rate at which researchers are coming out to support Bionano Genomics is crazy, guys. It's absolutely insane. These guys are coming up, they are coming out, okay, not just from the USA, they are coming from Canada, from Europe, from, you know, from Asia, Brazil, everywhere to support Bionano Genomics. And I love that about that. So the great thing so far that I have read so far is the cash at hand. This is amazing, guys. This is amazing. Now we need to get to the expenses. Now, study published during the quarter illustrate the value of continued adoption of OGM in the research area, including the following: cell bioprocessing quality control. You guys know I'm not an expert in all these levels, so I'm not going to go too deep. Report expansion disorders, hematological malignancies, recurrent pregnancy loss. This one is an amazing one. Okay, I mean, if Bionano Genomics Sapphire device is able to detect, you know, what causes pregnancy loss and so on and so forth, you know, it's going to help. You know, that's of course why most of us are here. We just want to help humanity. Now, according to the CEO, Dr. Eric Omlin, this is what he has to say about this, you know, new. We believe our Q3 results, 2022 results, which include the highest quarterly revenues ever for Bionano, reflect continued gains in market development and commercial validation for OGM. We were pleased to see improved revenues across all our global regions. And then he continues, we remain on track to achieve all our previously outlined elevated milestones for the second half of the year. We believe all our achieved and planned advancements, together with further validation of OGM utility supported by recent publications, should lay the foundation for revenue growth. Okay, this is an amazing, this one is good. This is a very good statement. Okay, this is a very good statement for revenue growth, because we just want revenue to keep growing, guys. We want Bionano Genomics to be profitable. I want them to break even. I want them to be profitable. I want them to be bringing in about $50 million at least for start, you know, in total per year. Then we can go to 70, 80 and so on and so forth. So, and further penetration of our target market, including cytogenomics, discovery research, and cell bioprocessing. So I like this statement. Now, total revenue, once again, $7.2 million. Okay, and then we have gross margin for Q3 2022 was 25% and represents a 3% sequential improvement over Q2 2022. Okay, this is good. GAAP operating expenses was $34 million compared to $21.8 million. So they spent 34 million. Guys, why? What am I reading, guys? They spent $34 million in Q3 2022 compared to $21.8 million in Q3 2021. Okay, it's not really crazy like that. Okay, I mean, this is not crazy. Q2 2022 non-GAAP operating expenses was $26.4 million. Last quarter they spent, this is the revenue right here that they spent last quarter. GAAP operating expense 33.6. Okay, but this quarter they report that they have spent 30, they have spent 34 from 33. So more or less, you guys can see that I was right, okay? Because this graph of total expenses that I plot right here, I don't want it to go crazy because it keeps increasing and increasing. So right now, it's more or less almost at the same place, okay? It's almost at the same place that it was. During the second quarter of this year, they spent 33.6 million US dollars. Okay, right now they spent 34. So it's not really crazy. So I think we are still good. Okay, we are not going to see any shares dilution any moment from now. This is a good news. I mean, if they spend 45 million, 50 million, then we are in trouble, guys. So this one is good right here. Now I'm still going to put all these things together later. Amortization of intangible and $100,000 in transaction related expenses. The year-over-year increase was primarily due to increased headcount and related spend. Of course, it has to be with the headcount because Bngo keeps hiring. I mean, if Powell see the rate at which Bionano Genomics keeps hiring, I think he's going to be hiking the interest rate by 100 basis points, not 0.75. Okay, Bngo keeps hiring, and okay. So at September 30th, 2022, the company had cash and cash equivalents and available. How did Bionano Genomics 22 points in net proceed raised in Q2? Oh ho ho! Now I understand what is going on, guys. Because I was confused that why would Bngo last quarter report 187 million US dollars and then this quarter report 180 million US dollars if they spent 34 million US dollars. You guys can see right here they raised some money. They raised 7.8 million, 7.5 million US dollars to 8 million US dollars in the fourth quarter. We expect revenues for the fourth quarter. Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. We expect revenues for the fourth quarter to be in the range of 7.5 to 8 million US dollars. Okay, I think Bionano Genomics raised money 22. Okay, oh my bad, 22.5 million US dollars in net proceeds raised in third quarter 2022 under its ATM at the market facility. No wonder, guys. No wonder. I'm sweating right here. Bionano Genomics raised 22.5 million US dollars in the third quarter. Okay, at the market. I made a video that Bngo is going to be diluting shares, raising money, and I was somehow right. Of course, my thing was like I was expecting them to do that next year. Okay, towards the end of next year. So they raised money at the market, 22.5 million US dollars. I'm gonna make a separate video about this. I don't want to ruin, what is going on right now because we are here to discuss, the earnings report of Bngo. So this is another topic entirely. 22.5 million US dollars. I need to go deep into this and see how they came up with this number and when it happened, how that likely affected the share price of Bngo. When they raised that money, I don't know how I missed it. Maybe it was when I because at one point I took a break I took a break from making videos for Bionano Genomics. So maybe that was when it happened. But the good news is we have 180.2 million US dollars, and of course they didn't go crazy. Okay, 22.5 million US dollars is okay, unlike the 350 million US dollars that they raised last year. I mean, this is okay. Okay, I mean, it's still going to keep the company afloat in these crazy inflation times. Now, excuse me, the chief financial officer, Christopher Stewart, the guy that came from Tesla, and I made a video 2 days ago about an investor from a Tesla investor that is presently has an interest in Bionano Genomics. I'm talking about Rose Gabasaki, or what is his name? I don't know, maybe this guy has contact with Christopher Stewart from because this guy used to be somehow working for Tesla, but right now he's the chief financial officer of Bionano Genomics. Maybe they have contact, and it's possible maybe that is why Rose is also invested in Bionano Genomics. Okay, I mean, I don't know, this is just some kind of Now, Christopher Stewart, the chief financial officer of Bionano Genomics, added, I quote, Q3 2022 was another outstanding quarter for Bionano. I am pleased with our 55% year-over-year revenue growth. We believe this growth reflects the continued excitement about Bionano solution that we are seeing in the market. Our capitalization remains strong with a cash equivalent, and available for sale securities balance of $180.2 million at quarter end. We expect revenues for the fourth quarter to be in the range of $7.5 million to $8 million. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Christopher Stewart is very good at his job. Okay, this guy is very good at his job. This guy, I have good confidence that this guy is going to make sure Bionano Genomics never runs out of money. Okay, we are retail investors. We would love to see the share price of Bngo skyrocketing so that we can finally, some of us can make some money, okay, from our investment. Okay, but just imagine you are working for Bionano Genomics. I mean, if you have a guy like this as the chief financial officer, you can be rest assured that your job is secured. Okay, I think this guy is doing a good job for the employees of Bionano Genomics. They're not going to run out of money. He's going to make sure they buy enough time till this company is profitable, in my opinion. Okay, I think he's going to make sure they buy it. He's going to buy Bngo enough time. He's going to keep raising money secretly with some kind of tricks that he's performing to make sure we don't run out of money until this inflation craziness is over. The good news that I have to share with you guys is the reason why Bngo right now is down, trading at this crazy cheap level. Look at that. We are up about 3% right now again. I mean, I don't really care about after hours or pre-market that much. We just have to wait and see what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we still have some kind of macroeconomic data coming in tomorrow before the market opens. That's why I always share some information with, most of you guys that are my channel members. Thank you guys for always supporting me on the channel. It costs about 99 cents. If you want to become member, it helps me to come here every day to talk about Bngo. You guys already know my channel is not getting a lot of views like that, but I try to come here. I turned an entire room into a studio so that I can provide you guys with quality content. So thank you guys for supporting me. Now, Bngo, maybe tomorrow we're going to see some economic data that is going to help the entire stock market, because right now it's more or less red day. Look at that. Nasdaq is down almost 2% right now. So hopefully tomorrow we're going to see a good data, or one of those Feds we just talk a little bit dovish, because right now it's just hawkish. Then Bngo, for example, right now after hour is saying plus 2%. Maybe tomorrow we're going to see $2.7 plus 10%. Nobody knows. So we just have to wait until the market opens. So what I'm trying to say is after hour or pre-market, it's not really a good indicator. Sometimes it is good, but it's not a 100% certainty indicator that this is what is gonna happen. So thanks guys. Thank you guys. So now Bionano Genomics, in the next 9 minutes they are going to be we're going to hear from the CEO of Bngo, the earnings call. Okay, we're gonna hear the earnings call. I think the link is somewhere here. Play blah blah yada live cast. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it somewhere here for now and pause it. I'm gonna put it like that. Very soon we are going to hear from the CEO of Bionano Genomics. So far, I think this is one of the best quarter of Bngo that I am covering so far. I mean, I completely love almost everything that I am seeing right here. Okay, we have enough money. They just raised 22 point something million US dollars, and we have the flow sales is also a new record, which of course I also admire. Okay, the flow sales, I like this. I want to hear from the CEO of Bngo about the suppliers of the flow sales. Hopefully everything is back on track. Where is it? Flow sales, number of flow sales, 3,975 nano channel flow sales. Okay, this right here, this one is good. This is good. I'm gonna put it in my chart. Flow sales. Okay, flow sales. Oh, I already did it. So 3,975. This is very good, guys. And then we have the total revenue, of course, coming in, and so on and so forth. So this right here is good, guys. So we just have about 7 minutes. Okay, 7 minutes till the earnings call. Yeah, more sales of flow cells, guys. More sales of flow cells. About 26 million US dollars right now. 26 million. No cash spent. All right, guys. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section. Let me answer some question. Okay. Let me answer some question. We just have about 7 minutes left until the earnings call. Finally, we can hear from the CEO of Bionano Genomics. Okay, you guys can see how most of all these experts, they have been coming together to support Bionano Genomics. And of course, there is also a breaking news in this. I'm gonna share it with you guys later in a video. We have right here, we have Dr. Sahaipal. I just can't pronounce this guy's names. Dr. Sahaipal, okay, also from Greenwood Genetic Center, presenting optical genome mapping and talking about how it has been able to detect SNVs, with OGM, with SNVs detected with NGS, the ability to integrate. Okay, this more or less about integration of OGM plus next generation sequence. Okay, now before I forget, I want to talk about, guys, before I forget, I want to talk about Pac Bio, guys, because I recorded a video. I recorded a almost 30 minutes video about Pac Bio's latest device, but I deleted the video because so let me talk about Pac Bio for example. Let me talk about Pac Bio for now until the earnings call. This is a very interesting topic, guys. You're gonna love it. Pacific Bioscience of California just released a new device, guys. I mean, this has to be some kind of joke, okay? This has to be a joke, because this device looks more or less like a television from the 17th century. This device. Okay, so we have a question from Daniel. Is Bngo profitable, or do we know it just by end of the year? Bionano Genomics is not yet profitable, guys. We are not yet profitable. I mean, we are not yet profitable. Bionano Genomics just spent. They cannot be profitable yet. We are still at the beginning. They just spent about 34 million US dollars in the quarter, and they made about 7 million US dollars. So I mean, you guys can already tell it's a loss, okay? But I mean, this is more or less a growth story. We are not here for today, we are here for tomorrow. That's why most of us are still here. So yeah, net loss is in line with Q2 results, just like Super is saying. Yeah, we are here for 5 years, okay? I mean, that's more or less why most of us are here. Now, let's talk about Pac Bio, guys. They just released a device. I think this is the beginning of the end of Pac Bio, okay? I mean, Pac Bio, let me see the device, okay? Pac Bio announces Revio, and they call it a revolutionary new long-read sequencing system designed to provide 15 times more hi-fi data and human genomes at scale for under 1,000 US dollars, guys. This is guys are talking about earnings per share. I want to take you guys to Pacific Bioscience of California website, Pac Bio, and show you some information about this device, because I know most of you guys are still wondering if Bionano Genomics has a competitor, if competition is going to come out and kill Bngo, yada yada. But I want to show you guys that Pac Bio is not even closer. Where is it? Sequencing with using Pac Bio system, Pacific Biosciences. There is that presentation about the new device. I want to show you guys the new device, Revio long read sequence. I want to show you guys how much this device cost, okay? I mean, this has to be some kind of joke, okay? Bionano Genomics is going to eat their lunch. Revio, I mean Revio has, hopefully I'm going to find this presentation. They have it somewhere, okay? The price of the device, the length, Pac Bio Revio 15 to 18, yada yada. This has to be some kind. Hopefully I'm gonna find that page once again. I made a video, 20-minute video about it, but then I deleted it because short read sequence technology, Hi-Fi, SBS. No, I think it's on the home page. I'm gonna go back to the home page. I think it's on the home page, not this one. Whole genome sequencing. Targeted sequencing RNA, not this one, human genetic. Oh my god, I hope I'm gonna find it. I hope I'm going to find it. This one is a video. Did you know we have a comprehensive learn more 1000 articles? I hope I'm gonna find dates, guys. If not, we have about 2 minutes before the earnings call of Bionano Genomics. I want to show you guys how much it cost to buy this device. About 700 and something thousand US dollars for this device that looks like a television. I mean, 700 and something thousand US dollars for one device. And this device is, according to them, is just 15 times greater, with 15 times greater throughput. I mean, this device cannot even do what the Sapphire device is presently doing. So this has to be some kind of joke, because Pac Bio is literally running out of money. I believe this is the beginning of the end of this company, guys. And you know, they are trying everything possible to compete with, you know, the likes of Illumina, but I don't think they can compete with Illumina. I don't think this is the, I don't know what Pac Bio is doing with the money. They raised almost $1 billion US dollars last year. I mean, not raised. They got, you know, from SoftBank. They got almost $1 billion US dollars from SoftBank. And if this is what they came up with this kind of money, this is a failure. I mean, all right, guys. So we have 1 minute. I couldn't find it. I wanted to show you guys the price of this device and, you know, how it works, some information about it, so that you guys can know Pac Bio is nowhere, is not even going to compete with. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because, you know, we have Bionano Genomics earnings call. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because ARK Invest analyst Simon, you know, has refused to talk anything positive about Bionano Genomics. Okay, so they keep putting their money in a failed company, Pac Bio. And I mean, you can already see how the stock price of, you know, Pac Bio is even. Pac Bio is literally dead in 2022. Look at that. Year to date. They started around 16 US dollars, right now about 8 US dollars. DIE. All right, so any moment from now, Bngo earnings call.
Please stand by.
All right.
Good day, and welcome to the Bionano Genomics third quarter 2022 earnings conference call. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Amy Conrad from Investor Relations. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Cynthia, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Bionano Genomics third quarter 2022 financial results conference call. Leading the call today is Dr. Eric Holmlin, CEO of Bionano. He is joined by Chris Stewart, CFO of Bionano. After market close today, Bionano issued a press release announcing its financial results for the third quarter of 2022. A copy of the release can be found on the Investor Relations page of the company's website. I would like to remind everyone that certain statements made during this conference call may be forward-looking, including statements about Bionano's revenue outlook, strategic and commercialization plans, anticipated benefits or improvements to Bionano's products, including the Sapphire system and NX clinical software, anticipated milestones for 2022, including progress on Elevate and each pillar of Elevate, the advantages of the Sapphire system over current technologies, and Bionano's expectations regarding study results and anticipated benefits of these studies and their ability to drive adoption of OGM. Such forward-looking statements are based upon current expectations, and there can be no assurances that the results contemplated in these statements will be realized. Actual results may differ materially from such statements due to a number of factors and risks, some of which are identified in Bionano's press release and Bionano's reports filed with the SEC. These forward-looking statements are based on information available to Bionano today, and the company assumes no obligation to update statements as circumstances change. In addition, to supplement Bionano's financial results reported in accordance with U.S. Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, or GAAP, the company is reporting non-GAAP operating expense. This non-GAAP financial measure is not meant to be considered in isolation or as a substitute for comparable GAAP measures. It should be read in conjunction with the company's consolidated financial statements prepared in accordance with GAAP, has no standardized meaning prescribed by GAAP, and is not prepared under any comprehensive set of accounting rules or principles. A description of non-GAAP operating expense and reconciliation of non-GAAP operating expense to GAAP operating expense are included at the end of the company's earnings release issued earlier today which has been posted on the IR page of the company's website. An audio recording and webcast replay for today's conference call will also be made available online on the company's IR page. With that, I will turn the call over to Eric. Eric?
Thank you, Amy, and thank you everyone for joining the call today. We had another outstanding third quarter for 2022, and Chris and I are excited to provide you with key results and an overview of the quarter, as well as to give you an update on our growth strategy, Elevate. And we want to take this opportunity to also talk to you a little bit more about the market areas where we see the highest potential for the adoption of optical genome mapping. Now, turning to our third quarter results, total revenue was $7.2 million for the quarter, which represents another record revenue for the company and an increase of 55% over the third quarter in 2021. We've seen revenue growth compared to the same time last year across APAC, Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Americas. And so we're very pleased with this progress. We sold 3,975 flow cells in the quarter, which is a record for the number of flow cells sold in any quarter in the company's history, and that represents a 17% sequential increase over the second quarter of this year, and it's comparable to the 3,969 flow cells we sold a year ago in 2021. We analyzed 369 samples in our laboratories, which represents 19% growth over the third quarter in 2021, and we ended the quarter with an installed base of 217 Saphyr systems, which is growth of 54% over the 141 systems installed at the end of the third quarter in 2021, and an 11% sequential increase over the second quarter of this year. Another area where we saw significant progress was in Bionano Laboratories, which officially launched this quarter. Bionano Labs is a new organization that combines our optical genome mapping data services with the clinical testing services that were previously known as Lineagen. We've also launched the first optical genome mapping-based laboratory developed test out of Bionano Labs, and we received CLIA certification for the San Diego lab. Now, this certification is important because it enables Bionano Laboratories to offer services to customers who seek to implement optical genome mapping into their clinical routines and for research applications with hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, and other groups that require a more robust regulatory structure for their projects. At this point, I'd like to turn the call over to Chris so he can go a little deeper into the financials for the quarter. After Chris's remarks, I will provide updates to the 5 strategic pillars in the growth strategy and then discuss the market potential we see for optical genome mapping in key areas, including cytogenomics, discovery research, and something we haven't been talking a lot about but is really exciting, called cell bioprocessing QC. Chris?
Thanks, Eric. The third quarter of 2022 was another outstanding quarter for Bionano. As Eric mentioned, we recorded significant year-over-year revenue growth and continued growth in the installed base of our Saphyr systems. We believe the building excitement in the market about the capabilities of our products is driving the revenue momentum we are seeing. Revenue in the third quarter of 2022 was $7.2 million, representing an increase of 55% over the third quarter of 2021 and our highest quarterly revenue to date. We came in just above our previous guidance range of $6.7 to $7.1 million, mainly due to stronger than expected sales of NX Clinical software. Gross margins for the third quarter came in at 25%, in line with the third quarter of 2021, and a 3% improvement over the 22% we saw in the second quarter of 2022 due to improvements in chip production yields and the favorable product mix in the quarter. We are making good progress on improving yields, and we expect to see continued gross margin improvements in the coming quarters. Third quarter 2022 GAAP operating expense was $34 million, compared to $21.8 million in the third quarter of the prior year. Q3 2022 non-GAAP operating expense was $26.4 million compared to $18.7 million in Q3 of 2021 and roughly flat to the $26.3 million in Q2 2022. Q3 2022 non-GAAP operating expense includes $6.1 million in stock-based compensation, $1.4 million in amortization of intangibles, and $100,000 of transaction-related expenses. The year-over-year increase in OpEx was primarily due to increased headcount and related spending. Our capitalization remains strong with $180.2 million in cash equivalents, and available for sale securities as of September 30th, 2022. That includes $22.5 million in net proceeds raised through the sale of 6.6 million shares in Q3 2022 under our ATM facility. Looking forward, we expect revenues in the fourth quarter to be in the range of $7.5 to $8 million, which would imply full year revenue in the range $27.1 million to $27.6 million. This number is slightly above the top end of our prior full year guidance range of $24 million to $27 million. Before I turn it back over to Eric, I want to quickly mention that we plan to hold our first strategy day this coming February. More information will be forthcoming in the near future. With that, I'll turn it back to Eric.
Thanks, Chris. Our strategy for growth, which we call Elevate, is based on 5 key pillars. To expand commercial traction and validation of optical genome mapping with Saphyr, to delight our customers with robust products, to clear the path for reimbursement of OGM-based tests, and change medical practice to include optical genome mapping in medical society guidelines, to advance our products to enable and support higher market adoption and entry into new markets, and lastly, to make software a strategic driver of our solutions. Now, recently we've added a 6th pillar, and that's that we focus on doing all of these things in a way that's scalable to meet the demands of our growth environment. We've seen great momentum in the adoption of OGM and its validation for use this last quarter. Last week, at the Association of the Society for Human Genetics, or ASHG conference, they featured the first dedicated scientific session on genome mapping technologies, where researchers from around the world highlighted optical genome mapping as a technique that has the potential to revolutionize molecular and cytogenetic research. And Bionano recently held its first scientific Meet the User event in the company's history, where we brought together over 50 researchers who were curious about optical genome mapping, seeking to find out where it fit into their lab and what applications they could run on it. These folks came to San Diego from all around the world and visited Bionano Laboratories, which is now a showcase for excellence in optical genome mapping. And they were able to see demonstrations of the Bionano Saphyr system and its workflow, as well as our NX Clinical software. We've continued our previously announced collaboration with Hamilton to release an automated sample prep solution for customers. In support of this effort, we've been developing new chemistries, which will be part of the world's first walkaway automation for ultra-high molecular weight DNA extraction with the Hamilton Long String Vantage system. That system has the potential to double throughput and deliver increased confidence in sample yields and DNA quality, making it easier than ever to adopt optical genome mapping at scale. And last week at ASHG, we were excited to announce together with Hamilton that this platform will be shipping commercially in early 2023. Now, regarding the progress in reimbursement, our plans for a Category 1 CPT code reapplication remain on track, and we have seen significant progress in the field for sites with laboratory-developed tests, or LDTs, that are based on optical genome mapping, who have gone and applied for reimbursement codes known as PLA codes, or proprietary laboratory analysis codes. They have been reporting that these codes now have established pricing. The 2022 gap fill recommendations were released by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS, for use in constitutional genetic testing with OGM, and they include reimbursements of $1,263.53 for 2 PLA codes, and reimbursement for $6,739.33 for another PLA code. The first 2 codes that I mentioned are for use of OGM in whole genome analysis for constitutional genetic disease. And the second one that I mentioned is for the combination of optical genome mapping and next generation sequencing. And so we're very gratified to see that reimbursement for optical genome mapping is now possible, and we see optical genome mapping on the clinical diagnostic laboratory fee schedule. This is very significant progress for us. The clinical studies that we are working on remain the backbone of our evidence to support OGM in changing medical practice through revising medical guidelines. We remain on track to meet our previously outlined milestones for this year, and we have made progress on a new version of our NX Clinical software, which will integrate optical genome mapping data alongside other data types. And then finally, we remain on track to have a pre-commercial version of the next generation mapping instrument in the field before the end of this year. Now, during this quarter, Sohail Shams, who has been our Chief Informatics Officer since the acquisition of BioDiscovery, transitioned out of his day-to-day activities and became the CIO Emeritus, which means that he is a consultant to the company for assistance and guidance in software development. During the 25 years since forming BioDiscovery, Sohail has established himself and his team as global thought leaders in genome analysis. The products and services they created, including NX Clinical, are recognized around the world as providing powerful solutions for visualization, interpretation, and reporting of genome variation. And now Bionano will take it forward to finalize the addition of structural variation and create a tool that will really transform the way the world sees the genome. Now, in closing, I would like to spend some time discussing the market opportunities for optical genome mapping, which we see as approximately valued at about $8 billion across the areas of cytogenomics, discovery research, QC for cell bioprocessing, and a handful of other applications. We estimate the number of cytogenetic labs on a worldwide basis to be approximately 6,000, and the number of samples that they are analyzing to be approximately 4.2 million per year. We also know that there are about 15,000 sequencers installed worldwide. And so when we think about the opportunity to transform the cytogenetic workflow by adding Saphyr and OGM, as well as complementing sequencing with optical genome mapping, we estimate that these two opportunities amount to a market potential of about $4 billion. In cytogenetics and molecular pathology, optical genome mapping is not only supported by emerging reimbursement, but now by a number of studies that validate its use as a replacement for traditional methods like karyotyping, fluorescence in situ hybridization, or FISH, chromosomal microarray, or as a complement to next-generation sequencing. We believe that this ability to detect structural variations is well suited in cancer and genetic disease applications. This quarter, we saw several research studies validating OGM's use in solid tumor and hematologic malignancy applications, and they all indicated that optical genome mapping workflows could lead to changes in important information used in patient management, like prognostic scoring and treatment recommendations in a variety of areas, including leukemias, lymphomas, myelodysplastic syndrome, and others. We believe the use of optical genome mapping may provide cancer researchers for a better understanding of the causes of cancer, which could lead to new diagnoses and therapies. Evidence for these views has been published. 4 peer-reviewed studies in the third quarter from researchers at sites including MD Anderson Cancer Center, Augusta University, as well as a multi-site study in Europe, all validated optical genome mapping's ability to not only see what traditional methods see, but find additional pathogenic variants in MDS, acute myeloid leukemia, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, as well as myeloid malignancies, suggesting that the identification of these previously undetected variants may impact prognosis and offer improved insight into the genomic architecture of heme malignancies and tumors in a way that would provide for better classification, risk stratification, and therapy selection. Genetic disease as well, we see growing support for OGM. 2 recent studies from researchers in China showed progress in this area. One study this quarter used optical genome mapping to detect balanced chromosomal rearrangements that were not detected by traditional methods, but found in subjects who had experienced recurrent pregnancy loss. A recent study successfully evaluated optical genome mapping for investigation of abnormal, non-invasive prenatal testing, suggesting that optical genome mapping could be used as a reflex test for positive NIPT tests as well as ambiguous ones. And these are very powerful applications for optical genome mapping in genetic disease. We also saw the publication of the first study to evaluate OGM in the analysis of certain repeat expansion disorders, where researchers successfully used optical genome mapping to replace Southern blot, which has been the gold standard for sizing these repeat expansions historically. Repeat expansion disorders are a class that impact approximately 1 in 3,000 people, and so they have a significant incidence in the population. OGM also has great potential in discovery research, as we've been talking about, either as a standalone tool or with sequencing. We believe discovery research is an area of such enormous potential because structural variations are highly biologically and clinically relevant, but historically there hasn't been a tool capable of the kind of comprehensive and sensitivity for detection of structural variations that optical genome mapping offers. With such a tool, we believe that optical genome mapping could become a new gold standard for structural variation detection, 500 base pairs and bigger throughout genome analysis. I want to talk about an area of the market that is increasingly significant and interesting, as well as one that's pretty unique to optical genome mapping, and that's this area that we call cell bioprocessing QC, or quality control. And this methodology entails evaluating intended and unintended modifications to genes in cells used for therapeutic applications, such as immune cell therapy, stem cell therapy, and other areas where gene editing has a therapeutic benefit. Two studies this quarter showed OGM's utility involving induced pluripotent stem cell lines, one with potential application for autologous cell therapy and one for allogeneic cell therapy. Autologous cell therapy uses an individual's cells, cultures them, engineers them to transform and modify them. They're then expanded in vivo and introduced back into the patient. Allogeneic follows a similar process, but based on universal cell lines. One study validated OGM's ability to detect SVs that had not been seen by traditional methods. Now, this is really important because these off-target or spurious events may impact the genome integrity of these cells that are used in therapy and bring about poor performance or poor safety. The other study used optical genome mapping as part of a quality control workflow to evaluate iPSC quality and genomic integrity in allogeneic therapies, again, to minimize the potential for immune rejection of donor cells by the recipient. We're excited to see the support for OGM as a new method in this space, and we believe this validation helps Bionano expand beyond the research and clinical diagnostics areas into uses of OGM for drug development and cell therapy applications. Now, in closing, I just want to reiterate that we are excited about our continued growth in 2022. I want to emphasize that we are on track to meet all of our outlined Elevate milestones, and we look forward to updating you on our progress during the Q4 call. As Chris mentioned, and I want to reiterate, that we would also like to share that we will be hosting an investor and analyst event in February of 2023. This is what we call our Strategy Day, and we'll give you more specifics on that in due time. And so with that, operator, we are now ready to open the floor for questions.
Woo! $8 billion US, guys. Total addressable market.
If you would like to ask a question, please signal by pressing star one on your telephone keypad. If you are using a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Again, if you would like to ask a question at this time, please press star one. We'll pause for just a moment to allow everyone the opportunity to signal for questions. We will take our first question from Jeffrey Cohen with Ladenburg Thalmann. Please go ahead.
Hi, Eric and Chris. How are you?
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
So, a few questions for us. Firstly, on the services and other number, which was strong for the quarter, very strong. Should I assume that includes some money from the San Diego CLIA lab?
Yeah, that number does include all of our services, which, yes, includes revenue from the San Diego CLIA lab, which is continuing to process samples as we have for the last several years now. Got it.
Okay. And then, Eric, talk a little bit about Hamilton and Vantage and the launch of this new product line. I understand that you'll be supporting them as far as the units and all the reagent kits. Could you talk about perhaps the size of that market as they see it or you see it, and some of the competitive advantages that the system has out there in the marketplace?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. So a couple of things. As you know, Hamilton is, one of the handful or, very, very small number of global leaders in workflow automation. And for them to create this program and invest in it, I think is really significant validation of the emergence of optical genome mapping as a mainstream technique throughout genomics. I don't think that they would put the resources behind this project if they didn't see the potential. And so we're excited about that. If you think about the market size for ultra high molecular weight DNA isolation, which this robot is expressly developed for. We talked about these 6,000 cytogenetic labs worldwide. We talked about 15,000 sequencers worldwide. And so I've got to believe that Hamilton views the potential of putting automation in many of those labs as we view the potential for putting sapphires in all of those labs. Not every lab is going to need automation, but it certainly simplifies the workflow, makes it more consistent and more robust. And what we see in labs is that their throughput is beginning to consistently ramp up, especially in Europe, where they've been going through a phase of validation and beginning to build a menu of applications. And so automation at this time makes a lot of sense. If you ask me, do I think every site is going to want to have automation? I think that there will be sites that continue to process samples manually, but the opportunity is very significant. Otherwise, Hamilton wouldn't get behind it.
Got it. And then secondly from us, congratulations on the news with CMS, right? This is the gap fill final recommendations. Has that gone into effect, or when does that go into effect for the two codes you outlined?
There's three of them, two in constitutional genetic disorders, and then one, well, they're all in constitutional, but two of them are for OGM alone, and then one is for the combination of optical genome mapping and sequencing. They are in effect now, and I think that's in the last week or so. And now you got to keep in mind, and this is important for everybody to be clear about. These are what we call what CMS calls proprietary laboratory analysis codes, and they are unique to the lab that has developed the LDT and applied for the code. But I will tell you that having CMS go through the process to study and analyze and discuss at the panel level and then go through a process of gap fill to price these codes, that the next steps for other labs following the same path will be more straightforward. And so I think we're finally in a period where we can say that there's reimbursement for OGM. Early days, but it exists.
Yeah, fantastic. I know you've been working on that for a number of years. So that does it for us. Thanks for taking the questions.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
We will take our next question from Francois Brisebois with Oppenheimer. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking the questions. Just, so congrats again on the CMS and the reimbursement progress and kind of, hope or just the fact that it's out there now for OGM a little more here. So I was just wondering, in terms of practices changing, what they do, is reimbursement, is that probably the main driver of a potential hockey stick kind of growth in terms of top line, or is it more a combination of publications and more validation, getting the word out, or was this really kind of one of the key drivers here?
Well, I think that you really do need to think in terms of a combination or a multifactorial process of demand creation through illustration of utility that's validated in the publications, combined with pulling down barriers to adoption, such as reimbursement. And so all of these things are ongoing in parallel, but they accelerate continuously. So we're here at the Association for Molecular Pathology meeting, AMP, in Phoenix, and we were talking about the number of human genomes that have been analyzed and published in the last year or so, and it's a little over 1,000. At this point last year, in the history of the company, it was 300, right? So 300 for the history of the company up until October 2021. From October 2021 until October of 2022, triple that in 1 year. So these things accelerate as we're moving through time and pushing forward on all of these different fronts. And as a result, that's what really drives the revenue growth. You said hockey stick, I'll just say the revenue growth. And, you know, I know that down the road you're going to expect us to continue the revenue growth. And so when we see, you know, this initial reimbursement, that's going to pull some folks in who are on the sideline. When we see this automation that comes out, we'll see some people come in from the sidelines who are waiting for the automation. They will do work in published papers, which will in turn drive some additional folks in from the sideline. Then we'll see things like, we hope or we believe we will see things like private payers coming on board, so on and so forth. So it really is multifactorial, but I can tell you that the process is accelerating on all fronts.
Okay, no, that's very helpful. And then maybe you just touch on, you see any seasonality in the business, or is it not, does it not affect the business as much as maybe others in summer months? And then also maybe just touch on, you know, in the press release, there's a couple of publications that are mentioned and talked about. I'm just wondering, in terms of the research, if there's one in particular, or again, it's kind of multifactorial where all of these are extremely helpful, or some more important than others. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll start by answering the seasonality question and then let Eric weigh in on publications. We have seen over the past several years, typically we're stronger in the second half of the year as companies get their arms around their budget, and then in Q4 typically they're spending their budgets before they lose it. Seasonality is a little bit slower in Q1 with, among other things, Chinese New Year, and then people kind of getting slow back to work after the holidays. So yeah, that's what we've seen typically. Seasonal strength in the second half of the year, a little bit seasonally weaker in the first half of the year. Eric, do you want to talk about the publications?
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, we've seen a number of significant publications that have come out, certainly in the third quarter, and I think one of the most impactful ones, and we talked about it during our last call, so I don't want to seem like I'm diminishing the impact of the others, but the paper from Dr. Rashmi Kanagal-Shamana from MD Anderson Cancer Center, I don't think that we can really understate or overstate how significant that is, because she touched on a number of different areas in that publication where optical genome mapping really dramatically impacts the patient management workflow in myelodysplastic syndrome, which was the topic of her paper, but I think it's reasonable to extend that throughout hematologic malignancies. And there are other aspects of that publication which go into depth about the relationship between new findings that optical genome mapping revealed and existing clinical trials for treatment. So when you begin to put together and kind of connect all the dots in that paper, you realize that that's a seminal work that really highlights, number one, the impact of optical genome mapping, but number two, the importance of driving these new methods forward. Of course, we're doing this here in Bionano Genomics because we have an incredible platform and we know we can build a great company behind it. But we really have to be focused on the importance of innovation in healthcare, because at the end of the day, this changes people's lives and it certainly helps them in some of their most desperate times. So I think that's the most significant paper that really was published this quarter.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There are no further questions at this time. Dr. Holmlin, I will turn the conference back to you for any additional or closing remarks.
Okay, Cynthia, I want to thank everybody for joining the call, and we look forward to updating you on the fourth quarter call after the first of the year. Thank you very much.
This concludes today's call. Thank you for your participation. You may
Guys, Dr. Egg Homeland is on top of his game today. I mean, this is literally the first time this guy is on top of his game. Everything is going on fine for Bionano Genomics so far. That is where I'm going to end the video today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please smash the like button before you leave. I still have to edit a video. Hopefully I can post it before 11 p.m. so that I can sleep. It's past 10 p.m. I have to wake up 4 o'clock. And please consider becoming a member of the channel. Support your boy. It costs about 99 cents every month. Just 99 cents, guys. Come on. I mean, it's not even up to the price of your coffee. So that's where we're going to end this video today. Thank you, guys. Thank you once again. I remain your boy Dayo. This is Frunkla. Ciao, ciao. Whoa!